And we are live. There it goes. Awesome. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Ring the Bell Live, where I just realized I'm wearing headphones and I didn't connect them to my phone. So I need to go ahead and get that fixed in a second. But thank you guys for joining us. We are here to cover the week in WWE Women's Wrestling. My name is Joey Mayberry. I'm your dad bod demigod and your host. And joining me this lovely Saturday is a panel of people that I love dearly. I love every single one of y'all. So excited for this. But coming here from another dimension, she is fresh out of a baby shower. Moxie Molly is here.
Hey, I love how you introduced me like I'm from Rocky Horror Picture Show in another dimension. And can I just say I'm really excited that we have a puppy with us today.
Yeah. I'm so excited by it too. Well, let's meet the puppy who is accompanying to the stream. The Neon Explosion. Cassius is here.
So this is Orlando, but we never call him Orlando. We just call him Orly Boy Johnson for short. Well, it's actually longer, but yeah. So, yay! And he's a big fan of women's wrestling as well.
Oh, well, we love our own little personal Chloe here today.
Yes, he's going to get that profile one day.
Come on, puppy profile. We need it. We stand it. We love it. And then, speaking of standing and loving, she is a referee extraordinaire. She is Lane Rosario is here.
Hey, guys.
Awesome. Excited to have you here. But you guys, to start off this show, we're talking about something that's not exciting. In fact, it's kind of sad because originally, so we had planned to discuss the main event from Monday Night Raw as the main topic for discussion this week, which is the no holds bar match with Nikki Ash and Charlotte Flair. But then yesterday, here come more releases. So that became the big news that shocked the entire wrestling universe. And since we mainly we only cover women's wrestling here, the big name that was released yesterday was Mercedes Martinez, a veteran from indie wrestling to mainstream wrestling. If you know women's wrestling, you know who Mercedes Martinez is. So this shocker came, out of the blue because these releases have been happening steady throughout the year. But currently, Mercedes Martinez was out with an actual concussion after her match with Xia Li and Mei Ying. So she's released out during an injury. And you guys, this one hit me pretty hard. Moxie, how did you feel seeing Mercedes released this week?
Well, as you know, the OG Ring the Bell hosts have a text chat. And I don't think it was until like 9 p.m. last night, I texted you guys like, wait 1 second. Were there more releases today? Yeah. When you guys said, yeah, Martinez, like my jaw literally dropped. I don't know if we have children who watch this, so I'll just use an acronym. I literally said WTF, all in capital letters. Like, it was shocking. It's like Joey said, if you know women's wrestling, you know Mercedes Martinez. And even when I very first started my training, when I had just had my eyes open that there was indie wrestling, that was one of the first female wrestlers I heard of on the indie scene. So being such a big component of even like big indie female shows like Shimmer, what have you, her being released is like I said, it's jaw dropping. I'm gobsmacked. There's no words.
I completely understand with that. Lane, I know you and Mercedes actually know each other pretty well. How are you feeling upon this news?
To be honest with you, when I saw her name on the list, I was, like Moxie said, gobsmacked. I literally shed a tear because that woman is one of my favorite human beings in the pro wrestling industry as a whole. She has always been there for me, always been a great support system. Even recently giving me advice and feedback on things. And I just, without going too deep off the far end here, This one I was shocked by because it shouldn't have been. That woman is such a wealth of knowledge, such a wealth of talent. And if they don't scoop her right back up to be a trainer, then they're sorely at a loss because that woman's knowledge is off the chain and she has so much to give. And it's truly like, without shedding a tear now, like disheartening for the rest of us females, to be honest with you, because she is, like I said, such a wealth of knowledge and years in this industry. And you're let go while having an injury.
I know.
I'm at a loss for words with that one and with her getting released as a whole. Not to say I'm not shocked by everybody else's, but hers hit me especially hard because of my relationship with her and our friendship and how much she means to me. And I know through other women who have done Rise and Shimmer and those seminars, how much she meant to all of us by giving us knowledge and seminars and teaching and being somebody that women in the industry can go to.
Oh, just right there with you. I think for me, it also more puppies. I love it.
Yeah, hi Shaggy.
I tell you, there are more puppies in this episode than a 2002 Monday Night Raw. But let's go ahead and say, but I think one thing with Mercedes that got me, you mentioned how long she's been in the industry and how she, recently just got signed with NXT. It was also a big thing for me watching it, being someone who's on the indie circuit and over 30, being like, hey, you can still make this happen for yourself. It's not over once you hit 30, like a lot of people have led indie workers to believe. Like you still had a chance of making that name for yourself. So seeing her released so shortly after kind of breaking a little glass ceiling for me was a little disheartening. Cassius, how are you feeling after that?
Like, that is really sad to hear because I remember back in the day, like on Sunday Night Heat, when she had a match with Victoria, like,
oh yeah,
years ago. And like, this was like when she came in as like, I don't know if that was a training match or something, but like back in the day, it was so rare to have a female to be in that position on Heat, like on there. So, and I always remembered her name from that. And then years later on the Indies, she did a show over here and I got to meet her. And I was kind of like intimidated by her. And then I started speaking to her and she was so kind. And to know like how long she had worked to get there, she finally got there. And then they've kind of just let her go, especially during the injury. I had no idea it was during the concussion, and those suck, and like those are kind of invisible as well, so you can't really tell how someone's doing after those. But like, yeah, just how the grind and how long it took her to get there, and now it's just gone straight away, and it's like they never even really, I don't know, they didn't really that much of a chance.
It's one of those things that's kind of like bittersweet because we just really skimmed the top of everything that she could possibly do, because there were so many women we didn't get to see her lace it or step up to. There's so many opportunities that we could have saw. Like, we never got Becky Lynch versus Mercedes Martinez, which could have been, a crazy matchup. And it's just so many missed opportunities. And then along with the releases that happened, of the release of Mercedes, we also saw a lot of notable men get released. So like Bronson Reed, who was just a North American champion, Leon Ruff, who was just a North American champion, Bobby Fish from the Undisputed Era. And then one that I wanted to focus on was Jake Atlas, because we talk about Jake a lot on this channel because we are so LGBT oriented. If the hosts aren't LGBT here, most of the fans are. So we really did lose. If I'm not wrong, I believe Jake was the only openly gay male on the roster. Am I wrong about that?
Well, the only openly one, we know, honey, there's definitely some closeted ones there. But
oh, girl, I know up close and personal. That's some tea I ain't gonna spill on the internet. But
but yeah, openly, yeah.
Yeah, and that's it's really disheartening because at least he was the only one. While I admit that he didn't get the chance to do too much on the NXT roster, so it did make a little bit of sense to see him kind of along those names. To see representation kind of slashed was really disheartening. Cassius, do you have any thoughts on that one?
Oh, it like you said, disheartening because like when he got signed, there's some hope, like, oh, we're gonna see some representation on there. And then when he was on there, it was kind of like the names of his moves all got changed. So, like, am I right in that? Like, it wasn't called the LGBT DDT.
No, they called it the Rainbow DDT, which I'm not going to lie, I like that a bit more.
Okay, right, fair enough. But yeah, it was like there was all this kind of hope and, oh, we could see this happen and more of this, and then, you know?
Yeah, I get that. Because, I mean, we do have some well-stacked bisexual and lesbian representation so far on the roster. I know we just...
I was going to say, we can't forget about Sonya Deville. She's she is front and center, and she's, I know, lesbian. So let's not discredit her, but I think we're honing in on male LGBTQ.
If we're gonna go that route too, then Mercedes is along that line too.
Yeah.
She owns it. She rocks who she is. That girl, that woman is who she is, front and center. They even had her and Jake, if I'm not mistaken, do their Instagram takeovers for Pride Month. For two different weeks of Pride Month on the NXT Instagram. And I just think those two, meaning Mercedes and Jake, was a huge blow to the community. Huge to me. But
they really don't focus on, because they do sometimes acknowledge like Sonya Deville's sexuality, but like they really haven't honed in on like Tegan Knox, who's a good example of representation for the community. But what can you do? I can tell you what you can do. Sign me and Cassius.
Yes, please.
Or wait a minute. Yours truly. I'm part of the community and would love to represent that in the zebra stripes.
Sign us all, please. We know you have room. You just released like 1,000 people.
Yep.
No offense.
Cassius swooping in like Billy Kay, like, here's my headshot.
But yeah,
I love it. Well, guys, we just got our first super chat, so I want to go ahead and acknowledge that, and then we need to jump into the review for this week, because we did, out of the sad news, good news is we did get a lot of women's action this week, so we got a lot to talk about. But first, I want to go ahead and shout out Shanty B, who said it is shocking to see them all go. Might come future. But yeah,
probably
I mean,
think some more would be in the future.
Who knows? We saw Zelena.
Oh, to be honest, with Zelena, I feel like that might have been the best thing that has happened to her, like getting fired and then hired again.
Yeah. Shanty B also followed up with. Let's see, who like comeback ones have been released? Like we're talking about Zelena Vega. But of these releases that happened, because we did see like Zelena Vega and Samoa Joe come back, who would you guys, I'll do a quick roundtable, like to see come back? And I'm going to go first and just say, bring back the Iconics. But
that was mine, so no use checking in with me.
Elaine, who would you like to see return?
Out of all the releases this year, I'm just going to try to narrow it down. I'm going to be biased on this one. Yeah, there's at least 2 or 3. One, obviously Mercedes. Obviously, hands down for me, because I feel like she represents the women really, really well, and what we can do and what you can do over 30. Stop discriminating against us over 30s. Thank you very much. We're battle tested and we've been down the roads. Thank you. Okay, I'm off my soapbox now, but she would be mine.
Cassius, who would you like to see return?
Yeah, Iconics definitely. Have no idea why they were released. Maybe they annoyed someone backstage. Maybe not. We don't know. Whatever. And I would say Mickie James, but then I know they wouldn't do it properly. So maybe it's best that she's not there. So yeah, Iconics.
I was thinking I was going to say Mickie James, but then, seeing everything Mickey's doing now, I'm kind of like, she's going to revolutionize the game. So keep her released, as bad as that sounds.
Yeah, she's killing it, like, on her own,
She better be. Okay, so before we transition to Raw, like how Lane said earlier, where they were like, why is Mercedes not being utilized as a trainer? Like, if they didn't utilize Mickie James, then they're not going to utilize anybody.
True.
It also, when she said that, I was going to say they should use her as a trainer. They even let go their main female trainer last year. Sarah, I forget what Sarah's last name is, but they let go of their main...
Serena Deeb.
Yes, and Serena Deeb. They let go of their 2 main female trainers. So we definitely have room.
Released?
Sarah, yeah,
Sarah
she was released last year, Joey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They released his last year. So they definitely have room for a female trainer. You know what I mean? Like,
what the hell? I had no idea about that.
Yeah, she was released last year in the first round of releases last year. So there's room for both Mickie and Mercedes to be trainers, and I don't know how to say this without being shitty. They need it. Like, they need good female trainers because it's showing evidently on television that who they are using isn't necessarily cutting it, is how I'll put it.
Okay, I'll do the PC version of that. If you want to build up younger talent who are under 30, get women in there to train them that have the experience that you want these girls to have. If you want them experienced, put them with trainers that have had the experience, aka like a Mickie James and like a Mercedes. These women have shown that they know what they're doing in the ring. And I know from firsthand that Mercedes would make an excellent trainer, and so would Mickie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is a perfect transition into talking about the women from today, because let's go ahead and dive into Monday Night Raw this week, because luckily we didn't have Ring the Bell Live last week, so I didn't get to really know that this was a full-on repeat Raw pretty much, so I'm going to take it as a fresh look. But the first dose of women's action that we can talk about today is Nia Jax going one-on-one with Rhea Ripley in, honest to God, probably the most dominating showing from Nia Jax we have seen in a long, long time.
And honest to God, real moves, not just her being the big person in the ring and just swatting people down like flies. Honest to God, showing us real wrestling.
Real wrestling. We saw the match end with a honestly pretty decent distraction spot from Shayna Baszler, because it really was just, yeah. Rhea hits the roll up, the most deadliest move in professional wrestling, for the 1, 2, 3. And we see a little bit of fighting between Shayna and Nia. And then as Shayna leaves, Rhea rolls in and hits the Riptide for no reason. But honestly, so quick, my point of view from this was honestly great little match. I thought it showcased Nia Jax well and kind of got over the feud with Shayna and Nia. But if you're just going to have Rhea Ripley come in after the bell and hit the Riptide, why didn't you just have her hook the Riptide for the 1, 2, 3 instead of just doing a roll-up, was my big critique from that. Lane, I saw that head nod. What do you think?
I think they should have had her do it before the bell rang and finish it with the 1, 2, 3 there, because then that establishes her. Mind you, she's one of my favorites because I love how dominant she is in the ring, and this match did that for me. It had both dominant women. But it should have that would have finished it out strong for her instead of it just being something after the fact.
I agree with that. Moxie, what did you think of this contest?
First of all, I want to say, I don't know how to say this nicely, but like, I love it when women like get color and then just keep going. I think it's a testament to how strong we are. And keep in mind that I always watch on Hulu and like Peacock, and I believe they edit certain stuff out when they upload those. I don't know how she hurt her nose or possibly her eye, but I don't, like, she rocked it. Like, she was just like, I don't know, it just looked great on her. And I don't watch it every week, but she definitely has a new style of gear that I think is wonderful. It's not those big triangles coming off her hips that, almost make her look more bulky. The catsuit she had on today fit her curves. I mean, this week fit her curves like flawlessly, and it's showing that she's not just this big, bulky, large competitor. That girl is stacked. Her shape in that, like her figure in that catsuit, was chef's kiss. As far as the actual showing for the actual match goes, like I said earlier, like this was Nia using like legitimate wrestling moves, not just picking up girls and slamming them down or swatting them down with their arms. Like she was doing some real chaining and roll-ups and what have you with
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley, thank you guys. Women's brain is a real thing with Rhea Ripley. And like we were kind of saying before, throwing like undercover shade. This is what happens when you have the newer talent training with those old seasoned ladies, as opposed to some of the newer talent we're going to talk about later who don't have those seasoned ladies. It was just so flawless. You could tell that whoever Rhea trained with taught her how to like trust who's in the ring with her. And it also finally is showing that Nia's not just The Rock's cousin. Nia's not just this big force to be reckoned with. Nia puts in the work too, and she knows how to do all of this stuff when you give her an opponent who's willing to do all this stuff with her. So I liked the match overall.
I like that. I want to go off of you complimenting Nia's gear and be like, Nia's hair game.
Oh, yes.
On point. Cassius, what did you think?
So when I saw like the little match graphic of that these two would be going against each other, I wasn't too excited because like none of them, they're not my favorite ones. But as soon as the match started, like I was really surprised and impressed. I was like, oh, I'm actually really into this. Like neither of them are my favorites, but yeah, it was nice to see Rhea Ripley in like a position where she was kind of outweighed, like where she wasn't the taller one or the bigger one. And it was nice to see her as like an underdog, because I know like she has been an underdog against Charlotte sometimes, but they're very similar in stature. So she's completely different with Nia, and it was really cool to see. And plus the blood involved as well was next level. It's like, oh my god, women bleeding, yes. And so that was fun to see, and yeah, it was refreshing to see a match like that on Raw.
I 100% agree with that, and it was nice to finally, fingers crossed, hopefully see Shayna and Nia officially split up, because it's been, girl, if you would have teased me for as long as they've been teasing this, I would block you on Grindr. But for the sake of time, let's go ahead and move on to our next. We're going to go ahead and talk about the rundown of these two next matches, kind of what happened through the night. We'll start with Tamina and Doudrop. So first little bit we got to see was Eva Marie. She was cutting a promo backstage saying that she doesn't care that Natalya is hurt. She doesn't care what happened last week. She is focused on Alexa Bliss and Lily. Fast forward to the match between Tamina and Doudrop, where we got to see Tamina pick up the win over Doudrop after a very impressive Samoan drop. Not even going to lie, it's probably one of my favorites I've seen Tamina do. And that led into Alexa Bliss, who was mocking Eva Marie for losing. And then later on in the night, we see Doudrop attack Alexa Bliss. And then the culmination to this was Lily stands up on her own for the first time. Before we dive in to the supernatural, let's discuss the match. So Cassius, with Tamina and Doudrop, what did you think of this whole matchup?
I mean, the match was all right. It was cute. I mean, I wasn't living for it. It was all right. Short, whatever. I think, I guess more the focus was on like the promos around the match.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see Tamina like not thrown to the wayside after Natalya's gone. You know what I mean? Like she's still in it, holding two belts.
Tamina 2 belts.
Yeah. Who would have thought we would have seen that? Like
No one ever.
Exactly. But yeah, the match was alright. It was nice. I do live for the Lily Lucian. I'm not gonna lie.
Revolution. I love it.
I like it. And like, yeah, Alexa is so good at, I feel like if this was given to any of the other women on the roster, I feel like they would have done a cringe job with it, maybe on the promo. Or I don't know. She has a way of doing it where it doesn't come across as cringe, and she does it really, really well.
It doesn't come across as cringe at all.
No.
And I think it, honestly, with her being as charismatic as she is, she kind of evens out the charisma that Eva doesn't have.
Yes. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The Eva promo, I guess, was like the best on-screen like piece to camera promo we've seen from her.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm gonna shut my mouth there. Like,
it's okay. She is literally there. She is a walking, sometimes talking heat magnet, and that's all Eva Marie is there for. Moxie, I know you have very much some thoughts on Eva Marie, but what did you think of the night of Tamina and Dewdrop and Alexa and Eva?
That's her emotion. She's a sound. She's like.
So, like I said, I stream this stuff, and I guess the people of Hulu agree with me because none of it was on the Hulu stream.
Oh.
I had to go seek out all of this. Thankfully, Joey told me most of it was on the WWE YouTube. So all of it, even Alexa's part, was cut out of the Hulu stream. I feel so bad for Tamina because she had a lot of steam, although WWE did not write that steam for her. That was her honest to God connecting with the crowd. She attracted that to her. But now they almost tried to piggyback off of it too much, that now it's not natural anymore. It's not natural yearning for her to do great. So she's kind of losing that. I think that match was okay for what it was supposed to be. I think it's a shit sandwich that it wasn't about the match. It was about the promos around the match. Agreeing with Castius, because I've said this before, there's really only 3 women on all of the roster that I think when they give promos, it doesn't feel scripted. And Alexa is one of those people. She believes every word she's saying. Obviously, they've scripted it for her. You know what I mean? But she's a true actress. She believes every word she's saying, which makes, like you said, Joey, the charismatic, like it makes it so perfect. And as far as Lily, the Lily Lucian, I love it. And her standing up on her own. I think oftentimes and many times we've been like, who do we think will end up being Lily? I hope that this ends up being like an Al Snow and Head thing where like no one is ever Lily, that Alexa forever is like using Lily to like cover people and stuff like that. Like I hope Lily takes on her own persona.
Yeah.
Where I hope this isn't going is that somehow Ava becomes Lily. I will be so devastated and pissed off. I might just never watch wrestling again because anytime you put Ava Marie on the screen, I literally want to turn off my television.
I don't hate her that much.
And I will never call Piper anything but Piper Niven. And I'm just glad she's doing what she's doing with what she's been given, but they're really ruining her too.
I don't think they're ruining her. Okay, so let me go my side of it. I think that they have shot themselves in the foot from the get-go when it comes to Eva and Dewdrop because they didn't explain why the hell Piper even showed up.
True.
They never said, okay, Eva's mentoring this girl. They never said that this girl's Eva's cousin from Britain. They never said anything. They just said, okay, here's this girl. She's with Eva Marie. The second week they were together, they turned on each other. Like, it's never been a congruent story. They still clearly don't like each other because you've got Dewdrop over there being friendly with Alexa and Lily, and then the next week attacking her. It's just kind of all over the place. And I just want to try something really quick. So when Lily stands up, it didn't work that time. Every time someone said Lily stands up, Cassius's mouth is just.
It does.
But Lane, what did you think of all the Eva, Dewdrop, Alexa, Tamina craziness?
I'm a sound as well when it comes to that because everything Moxie said, without actually saying it, I will never think of her as Dewdrop either. To me, she's either one of two names, Piper Niven or Viper. I want to see what she can do on her own. Her talent is so good. Like, what? Why? Why this for her? You know what I mean?
Right.
My biggest thing is, and it just came to mind when you said if Eva was Lily, what if they turned her into Lily, meaning Viper?
I'd be much happier about that than if they turned Eva into it.
I feel like she would do that justice if they did, especially with the blonde hair and the fact, I don't know if anybody else has realized this, that they either have Viper in pigtails all the time. Her hair is almost like those little buns on top of her hair, and then look at Lily's hair.
Not last night, they didn't. Actually, I was going to say what happened to them. They didn't have them last night. But I agree. If it's anyone that they've brought currently, like recently to the roster, I think Piper Niven could do it, or their names are escaping me right now, but Joey, you'll probably know them. One of them is from the Chicago area, and they did a tag team of them in NXT.
Oh, you're talking about
Priscilla
Kelly or
yeah. Either one of them I think would play Lily, but it makes sense for them to play Lily. If you're trying to have a shocking, jaw-dropping moment without releasing someone, then I would say use Piper Niven.
Well, I hope that it's Joy Giovanni, but for the sake of time, let's go ahead.
She is sidekick in it, right? She is sidekick Joy now, right?
Now?
She does she's like a medium or something. No,
Joey,
she's
not psychic.
No, literally sidekick. She does tarot readings and stuff.
Oh, I thought you said sidekick, like a superhero has a sidekick.
No, Joy does that. She's a medium or something, I swear.
Oh.
Huh.
But you could, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Well, she's a medium. I'm an extra large if it's not too tight. But let's go ahead and move on to the main event storyline. Because this past Monday, we got a main event no-holds-barred match between Nikki ASH and Charlotte Flair. We started off the night with Charlotte doing a very Charlotte promo, just coming out and basically saying, I'm the best, I'll always be the best, Nikki's a joke, all of that good jazz. Then Nikki hits her with a chair, and that was very surprising to me. That's not very superhero like Nikki, but who cares? It was entertaining.
She's almost a superhero. She's not a superhero.
So if you're almost a superhero, you can get away with doing almost superhero-like things.
Or almost villain-like things.
Oh, pretty sneaky, sis.
Yes.
I see that. But the match ended with Nikki Cross doing her twisting neck breaker through the second rope, pinning Charlotte Flair. This main event, y'all, I'm not going to lie, seeing Nikki actually have a full-on match against Charlotte Flair, I was like, this is what I wanted. Make her look credible. Make her look respectable. I thought they made her look a little bit weak because they continually made Charlotte pull her up for a majority of the middle of the match. But this is probably my favorite Nikki match I've seen since she donned the cape, and that's pretty much hands down. Moxie, what did you think of the main event this week?
I don't dislike that they had Charlotte lift her up so much. As a person who has worked most of my wrestling career as a face. When you're a face like that, where you're almost a superhero or from a comic book or something like that, that's the point, because in those sorts of characters, it's like the villain brings everything the villain possibly can to bring you down, and somehow you just have this internal burst of, you know, strength and power, and just you come back bigger and brighter than ever. So I think that it ties in very well with almost being a superhero. I like that we're starting to see, I know you said it was like one of your most favorite matches since you started this gimmick, you know, put the cape on, but I think that this is actually one of the most prominent matches she's had her entire time being signed in WWE, because they're finally putting her against people that can highlight how good she is. Even when she was Nikki Ash and Crazy, like they weren't putting her in like main event matches or spotlight matches. They were putting her in throwaway matches to kind of further the men she was in a faction with, to further their storylines. So this is
roster, not so much in NXT though.
True. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, this is one of the most prominent ones against one of the biggest names she's had since she started her career in WWE. So she is literally like a almost superhero. She is literally the underdog in this, in almost every situation she's put in recently, and she's prevailing. And I think that helps further the almost superhero gimmick. Is like, it's the best gimmicks are an extension of yourself in real life. And she's truly an underdog. And that's why this gimmick is shining through, because she's finally getting, that underdog is finally getting a chance to show that they can do what they can do.
Yeah, and kind of playing up not just the fact that she's an underdog this time, but a capable underdog, finally, I think is the big part. Cassius, you are donning some
in. She really can hold her own against Charlotte. I think that's what this showed. She didn't need to cash in when Charlotte was at her lowest. She can stand up and she can defeat Charlotte with her own skill, whether Charlotte is worn down or not.
Well, I agree with that. And that actually brings me to a thought that I had watching this match. And Cassius, I'm going to turn it over to you in a second, because you are dressed up like in the Nikki ASH colors. But when I saw Nikki win this match, oh no, we lost Lane, but hopefully she'll be back.
Gone. She's gone.
When I saw this match happen and Nikki get that solid win on the main event, do you think it would have been a bit more like prominent and big for her if she would have done the almost superhero thing a la John Cena and said, I want to challenge you in the main event in a no holds bar match for the title, and that's going to be my cash in? And then we saw Nikki get that win over Charlotte Flair. I think that might have really cemented her more than that cash in did, but that was just my own thought. Any thoughts on that type of storyline? Because that's where I was kind of going with it.
Did we have the crowd then? Like, or was it still the Thunderdome when she won the thing?
It was the first night back with the crowd.
Oh, that would have been nice. That would have been like,
yeah, but like, give her a chance to really like not prove that she wasn't a fluke and actually win the title. I thought would have been a really better way to do it, rather than just have the next night cash in type deal.
Yeah.
But that's just me. But Cassius, what did you think of this match? And hopefully Lane will be back soon.
The match. Oh, I genuinely felt sorry for Nikki, which is obviously great for an underdog character. They want us to feel sorry for them, and they did a really good job at making me feel sorry for her. Because I mean, girl, she got thrown through the through a table, through
and that table snapped so pretty.
Yes, like, and through the barricade, and also it was someone going through the barricade where it wasn't Nia Jax throwing them through, so that looked even more impressive as well. Yeah. I mean, she hit literally like 2 moves just to finish up and like something before, poor thing. But I mean, she won, so yay. So
she did win, but she got her ass whooped to do it.
Yeah, she earned that win. She earned it. Like, I felt halfway through, I was kind of like, oh, did she annoy someone backstage? Like, but no, yeah, I'm glad she won, and I feel like this match has done like a good job to kind of get people behind her heading into SummerSlam. It is SummerSlam they're going into, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoping that they get a little bit more hype behind Nikki, because it still seems like the crowd's just a little bit not so into her. Like, she's not getting that good. Like, I feel like they were expecting her to get the reaction that Liv Morgan is getting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also think it's difficult for her to get that reaction when we have a-hole fans that are yelling Becky and CM Punk and not paying attention to the product that's given to them at all. Personally, like, I get it. They paid to be there. They ought to be able to chant whatever they want, but I think they're being unfair to a lot of the talent when they do stuff like that, personally.
I mean,
why pay money just to scream?
After 2020, I'll pay all the money just to scream.
Oh, what I will say though is the thing about Nikki, like, so she's wearing a mask and like she's still getting people to cheer for her, and like that is really hard to do, to get an audience to connect with you while you've got a mask on your face, because they can't really see your facial expressions, kind of thing. And I feel like maybe this match will help the crowd get behind her, but she's like, by the end of it, yeah, well done.
Like, I know we need to move on, but in my mind, even though it came way too quickly, this match was like Iron Man versus Ultron, where like Iron Man is giving all that he can like possibly give, and Ultron is literally about to smash him, and then Iron Man gets the one up and somehow wins. And I think, since you were talking about her mask, what's so good about Nikki is like, when she was like this, you can't see this part of her, but she's like, like you can see that like she's getting like angry, and she's like, what do I have to do? But she's also like that superhero, like, I have to win to, save the world. So I hope people get behind her like I'm behind her. I think if they thought about it as a Marvel movie, they'd love it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're just thinking of it as a WWE product, and they want to chant, "We want Wyatt," all that good jazz. But for the sake of time, we do need to head over to SmackDown, because, y'all, SmackDown, it's literally like an entirely different world over in SmackDown. Like, watching this show, I'm like, this is current wrestling. Like, this is, or current mainstream wrestling. Because just light years differently. I mean, and then you look at the way that women are represented. We did have a main event on Raw with the women, but Sasha Banks opened up SmackDown looking like a star. She came out. I love that new 3D hand thing with the boss logos on it. And, girl, Cassie, what do you think? I see you're ready.
They are serving looks tonight, honey.
Yes, they are, ma'am.
Like, the promo was fire. As soon as Sasha walked out, I was like, wow, gagging from the look. But then even when Bianca walked out, I was like, oh my God, even she's serving a look. And then Zelena came out, and I was like, as well? Yes. And do you know what? That was like, I feel like that makes it even more exciting, because for a long time, a few years ago, everyone did promos in black leggings, black vests, and black leather jackets with black thigh-high boots. Like, they were all in the same outfits. And so now, like, everyone's got their own individual thing, and it's really cool. And like you said, SmackDown was just like a whole different world from Raw. I feel like Raw comes on, we watch it, and everyone's kind of like, but then SmackDown comes on, and then we're like, oh, wow. And like, I'm still used to thinking of SmackDown as like the B show, but it's always really not. It's always really good. I'm always really impressed.
But this like showed it, because as soon as Sasha came out looking like $1 million, Bianca came out, and when Zelena came out and Bianca got on that little end of her promo where she's like, you know what? I got you at SummerSlam. I got you tonight. And I was just like, this is setting up everything perfectly. So into it. Moxie, what did you think?
Everything Cassius just said. I was gonna say, like, forever Raw was the flagship show, but I think SmackDown is finally that underdog that is like shining through. Like, hey, don't forget about me. I will layeth the SmackDown eventually. And it's time is here. SmackDown is smacking not rest of the stuff down, but like Raw really has a lot of work to do to bring itself up to what SmackDown and even NXT is doing. So can we borrow some of the writers? I don't know. But also I was going to say, you know, we constantly talk about how the end of the Diva era and how it's the women's revolution, but these three women especially, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belaire, and Zelena, I feel like they found an amazing way to meld what being a diva and being a woman's wrestler in the women's revolution. Like, they're both, and they found a way to be beautiful and hot and sexy, yet intelligent and full of strength and very talented. Not that the women and the divas weren't, but there was such a microscope on them being sexy first. And then in past years, during the women's revolution or evolution, there was such a microscope on women looking powerful. And these three have just made it happen. Like, they've just taken both ideas and like made it happen.
Let's not even discount the idea of the other women that are on SmackDown, because they are also bringing it. Like Carmella got it. We'll talk about Shotzi and Tegan in a minute. They got it. Tamina and Natalya as the tag champions on SmackDown, baller. I love it. It's really this new day and age. Like, this is hearkening me back to the first SmackDown when they did the most recent big draft, and it was the SmackDown 6 with Naomi and Alexa and Becky, and it was just all great storylines, all great matches. And speaking of great matches, this led into a match that no one could really figure out what to call it throughout most of the night, because it started out as a women's championship match between Zelena Vega and Bianca Belaire. Then later on in the night, they started going, nope, it's a contendership match, whatever the hell that means, for the women's championship. But we did finally get a contenders match, which basically means if Zelena can beat Bianca, then she gets a title shot at some point down the line, is what they said. I don't know, but it was Zelena Vega versus women's champion Bianca Belaire. Bianca picked up the win with the KOD. Y'all, I love this little match. Moxie, what did you think of it?
I loved it, but I'll still say I wouldn't give it a full 10 out of 10. There were a couple spots, and I think that it is very much on Zelena, where she almost paused and didn't run to pregnancy brain. What is her name? Bianca Belaire, sorry. There was a couple times where she didn't run to Bianca quick enough, and so Bianca was like waiting to pick her up and stuff like that. And this is what I was going to say, again, talking about women who got to work with those older trainers, like in past years. Zelena kind of came in right when those trainers were being let go. She's been out of the ring for a bit. I love Zelena. I think she's phenomenal. I think this just showed someone that's been working for years and years. Well, not years and years, but someone who's been working steady mixed with someone who wasn't. And you can tell they just haven't worked that much in the ring, because it's almost like Zelena didn't 100% trust that Bianca was going to be there when Bianca needed to be there. But
I can see that.
Yeah, that being said, like I said earlier, there's like three women that I feel that when they speak and give their promos, you like, it doesn't feel scripted. And the other two are in this match. Even Zelena, like when she came out in her fire, whatever that was, green corset. Ooh,
oh, yes.
That was gorgeous. So like Zelena, even when she was talking backstage to Sonya Deville, like she believes every word she says, and it comes out of her mouth so naturally that she doesn't have to stall to think of what line they gave her next. And so that's what I really appreciate about her. Same thing with Bianca Belaire. So I'm actually going to say there's four women, because like I said, Alexa, Bianca Belaire, Zelena, and you have to give Charlotte her props because when the fans do chant shit in the middle of her promos, she uses it to her advantage. So
And flips them off.
We're gonna say there's 4 women, I think, that truly talk that I can believe what they're saying. But yeah, I liked this match. There was just some stuff where Zelena stalled and it just took a second. And I'm fairly certain when Sasha came out to distract, I think it was late because they kind of went back to the ropes to try to make something else happen. I think like all of that happened a little late. I think someone in the back got yelled at.
Oh, I don't care. Because she did a Hurricane Rana off the apron, and my little Lita heart just went, ah! Like that. Absolutely adored it. Cassius, what did you think of this match?
I thought it was exciting. Like, first of all, I love both of their outfits in this as well. Like, Zelena's new, like lacy thing, like with laces there, it looks so cool. And this was when this match made me realize that I think her getting released and then rehired was the best thing for her, because before she got released, like she was in the Thunderdome matches she was having weren't really anything to write home about, but this was like really fun. I liked how you know, like near the finish where Bianca threw Zelena's head into the barricade.
Yeah.
It kind of it reminded that was like, oh, I was like, girl, you okay? But it reminded me of Michelle McCool doing it with Kelly in the match with Edge when she when she defended the world championship. So yeah, I just had to say that. But I liked how they, like, the move they did, you couldn't just switch another woman in there to do it, because they used Bianca's strength and bigger frame and then Selena's small frame and then told the story with that. And that's what I liked. Yeah, and yeah, the Hurricane Rana with the Sasha interference.
I just want Sasha's outfit. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Like, can't you picture that on my plus size body?
Yes! What? Body. I'm excited to see what she wears next week. I'm actually excited to see what they all wear now.
Yes. I was very trying to channel a Michelle McCool for you, but my A+ body. But speaking of A+ bodies, let's talk about bodies that could get run over by a tank, because we did get to see the ballsy badass Shotzi Blackheart accompanying Tegan Nox to the ring for a match against WWE Tag Champ Tamina. And y'all, this was some fun little wrestling. It was short. At the very end, we saw Shotzi fire the missile from the tank and distract Tamina. Tegan wins off of a roll-up. Tegan and Shotzi seem to have the tag champs number. They beat Tamina and Natalya quite often, but this match was like one of those little things where I'm like, this was so much fun. This is kind of the thing that I like from wrestling. It's just that stuff that makes me go, yay. And Moxie, that reaction makes me think that you don't agree with anything. So what did you think?
Well, maybe this is controversial, but I'm still not behind or feeling Tegan Nox. And thank the Lord for Shotzi, because Shotzi is what makes me be want to watch anything that has to do with them. So thank the Lord that they're together. And honestly, I was literally kind of bored with the match until Shotzi's little missile, and I was like, cool, that was awesome. But all of Tegan's like, I'm not into it.
No, that's fair. I'm into it. I like it. Cassius, are you into it?
Well, I didn't want to be rude, but now you've said that. Okay. No, so I want to root for Nox, Tegan Nox, whatever she's called now, I don't know. I want to root for her because she's from like this side of the world, like from the same part of the Indies where I'm from. But I feel like you know when she got headbutted and then like she would.
I love that.
Those cells. See, I like them, but I feel like I don't know if they cut the camera too early or if I don't know. It kind of, I feel like it doesn't. It to a live audience, I think it will look maybe great, but on the TV, it doesn't look as cool as it could. I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to put it nicely. I liked the match, but I think I liked it because of the Shotzi Tank part.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe, I don't know if it's because we don't know much about Tegan Nox at this point that I don't care too much about what she does. I think maybe we need to see her in some sort of crazy kidnapping storyline, or like, you know, something like crazy, or like something over the top to give us a reason to care about her, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're totally using Shotzi to balance out Tegan, because regardless of, you know, if you think that she's charismatic or not, you do have to admit she's a great in-ring worker.
Yeah, so that she is, yeah.
That they can kind of look at and be like, hopefully, if we put Shotzi here, this charisma is going to magically rub off on you. It's the Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty effect. It's kind of like what they're trying to go for. The thing that got me with this match, where I just liked it was the first time. I don't dislike Tegan, but she is, like we said before on our old weekly reviews, Moxie, if she was a spice, she'd be flour. She's a little bit boring. So, like, I feel like she's starting to show a bit of charisma, and she's starting to branch out. And I got to see a bit more expression from her.
So now she's whole wheat flour.
Yes, that. Or like Chipotle mayo. Like, that's kind of...
I hate mayonnaise in every form, so that did not do it for me.
Lemon and herb. No, not even that. No.
I was going to make a mayonnaise joke, but this is a nice PG-13 channel. But, y'all, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. The thing that got me, though, is we've already had one of these contendership matches with Shotzi and Tegan where they defeated Tamina and Natalya. They haven't gotten that shot yet, and now with Natalya being injured, I'm wondering how this is going to play up, because now we've seen Nox defeat Tamina in singles action. This is kind of up in the air, but you know what's kind of refreshing about it being up in the air? I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm kind of living for that. It's kind of like, wait, I can't predict it. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was kind of like, was the women's championship vacant at one point years ago or something? When everyone got drafted to SmackDown, and it was a fresh kind of thing of,
oh, it got introduced.
I don't know, or maybe when it was when everyone was drafted to SmackDown, like Alexa, Carmella, blah blah blah, and they had all these series of matches where we didn't know what was going to happen. It's kind of an excited time like that, like where who knows what is going to happen with the belts, like.
And that's what wrestling should be. Wrestling should be surprising and shocking and thrilling. And when you're just sitting there going, like, when you're watching these matches sometimes on like Dark or Elevation for AEW, and you're just like, well, Thunder Rosa is facing this girl I've never known before. I wonder who's going to win, you know? Kind of. Yeah. Moxie, any other thoughts?
No, I think that you guys are right. This makes it kind of exciting for the tag championships in the future, but also like we don't have very many tags left, so I get a little bit like, oh.
They released them all, will it?
Well, hopefully we might see some more tag team division, like some step ups. Like maybe we know that Aaliyah's been waiting in the wings to get called up, so maybe we'll see her step into the tag team division.
Toni Storm somewhere? No.
Oh yeah, she debuted and we haven't seen her. Liv Morgan got all these pops and we haven't seen her. So there are women waiting in the wings to capitalize on these big opportunities. So hopefully we do see some things come from that. But on that note, we have about reached our time, and I have no idea what happened to Miss Lane Rosario.
Oh, God. I hope she's okay.
I do, too. I bet she was just like, you know what? I don't like SmackDown. I'm out.
Injured mid-match and gone. She's called it a night.
I guess so. Well, if you guys did enjoy this stream today, please do give us a big thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, We're here every Saturday and talking about women's wrestling. Also, check us out on Patreon and all that good jazz. But also, the three of us individually have social medias. Moxie, where can people find you?
You can find me across all social media platforms at that's THEE, Moxie Molly. My social media has been a little bit boring, but give me probably like 3 more months, I'd say, and I'll be back and hilarious and as snarky as ever.
And with probably so many baby pictures.
Probably. I always get annoyed. I'm like, the same 6 photos of your kid like this, but I'm probably gonna be that mom too.
I can't wait. Be proud. Be a mom. Cassius, where can people find you?
On Instagram at Neon Cassius, and on Twitter it's at Neon Cassius1. Because I got a new Twitter suspended. So please help me out on Twitter, girl, because it's a struggle on there now with this new account.
We're going to get you up there. Everyone go follow Cassius. And then you can follow me at Joey_Mayberry on Instagram and Twitter, Joey.Mayberry on TikTok. Check out Golden Era Podcast with me and Jake Smith every single Friday, and Divas 101, a podcast with me and Tommy Purr, who is the father of Cassius, each and every Wednesday, when we talk about the 101 moments that rocked women's wrestling. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll be back next Saturday, and I'm going to go figure out where Lane went. Love you all. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.